The Royal Canadian Air Force Museum in Trenton, Ontario is home to many older restored planes and artifacts. Unlike traditional museums which recognize only one specific unit, this museum recognizes all Air Force contributions. Currently, they are restoring the Halifax Bomber, a plane that was flown by most Canadian crews in World War II. Stu Tho is one of many men who is working on the restoration. He tells us a little bit about the history of this certain aircraft.
The Halifax was flown by Canadians during Second World War. About 71% of bombing missions flown by Canadian crews were flown in the Halifax. And since this is or will be the only intact Halifax in existence, out of a total of 6,178 were manufactured, there is a lot of interest by retired or ex-Canadian crews that flew these aircraft.
This rear tail turret has been almost completely restored back to its normal condition. The Halifax stands 21 feet from the ground and is 71.5 feet long. This engine alone took over 5,700 man-hours to restore. Kent Ford, who actually flew one of these planes, says they were easy to handle.
I thought they were easy to fly. They had lots of power with 4 engines like this. They handled nicely, both on the ground and also in the air. So there was, as far as I was concerned, there was not a problem to fly one of these. They're bigger than what we had been flying, but it was still, as far as I could see, it was an easy thing to convert to.
The Halifax Bomber was also used to tow gliders and drop supplies to Denmark and Norway. This tail plan is 30 feet and 1/4 inches long. Tho and Ford have each dedicated a lot of time to this aircraft.
I'm usually here 5 days a week, and that's been going on for the last 7 years.
Oh, I usually come twice a week in the mornings, and I've been coming here for the last 5, 6 years probably.
The men working on the bomber are all volunteers. Even though many are ex-RAF, ex-RCAF, and ex-Canadian Forces personnel, many just want to see one of these historic planes on display. Ford is one of the biggest supporters of this project. He wants people to understand how significant this plane really was.
Well, it's hard to explain. It's one of those things that you like to do, for a lot of reasons, but mainly is because people don't realize how big an airplane this thing really was, And I forgot the exact figure, but something like about 75% of all the bombing missions that Canadians flew were flown with a Halifax. Not with a Lancaster, but with the Halifax. So from that point of view, it's important to be able to say, okay, this is the airplane that most of the crews flew in this.
years, Ford's memory of the Halifax he flew have faded, but he can still recall a few things.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some, mind you, it's almost 60 years since I flew one of these things, or was actually inside of it. So a lot of your memories from that distance just fade out of sight. You know, there's the odd thing I remember about it, but not that much.
The Halifax Bomber restoration project will be on the move come April of 2005. It will remain at the RCAF Memorial Museum, but in a much larger location. A fundraising program with a goal of $5 million is currently underway. If this goal is reached, it will provide 73,000 square feet of display area for the aircraft. Full restoration of this project is expected to be completed by 2006.